Nusa, how could you do this? This was the question on my mind for a long time. I am Erica, and I met my husband Nusa during my master's program. I was running a full-time degree while he was an executive MBA student. We had a few classes together, and that's how we met and became friends. He was a banker, so his schedule was very tight, and he asked for my help with updating him on assignments and tests since he could not always attend all his classes. I went a step further for him and actually wrote most of his assignments and submitted them on his behalf. I was only doing it as a gesture of friendship, not that I was looking forward to anything. Anyway, we got closer over time and we started dating after a while. Our relationship lasted about 3 years because after finishing my master's program, I wanted to get a job and be settled before I married, and that was non-negotiable for me. I was also particular about the kind of job I wanted and where I wanted to work because I did not want a job that sapped my life. I wanted to have time for myself and other interests. So it took a while before I started working in a talent management company with global reach. When I met Nusa's mom about 1.5 years into our relationship, we hit it off immediately. She really liked me, and I liked her too. She was down to earth, forthright, and very objective. She and I developed a friendship outside Nusa. I could speak to her about almost anything. When we eventually got married, she was my greatest ally. She was not the kind of person to leave her house to stay in ours. She was too sophisticated for that. But we spoke on the phone all the time. She cooked food and sent it through her driver since we lived in the same city, and so on. She was just such a darling. We had 3 children, 1 boy and 2 girls, and everything was going rather well until about the 8th year of our marriage when Nusa started dating another woman. Of course, I stumbled on the information. I was not going through his phone or anything like that, but he got a call one day while he was in the bathroom, and it was a lady's name. Out of curiosity, I took his phone and went through his messages with her, and the information was right there for me to see. I copied her number and her picture, and I did not say anything to him immediately. Not because I was playing games, but because I wanted to be measured and calculated in my response. I went online and found as much information as I could about her. She was a widowed mother of 2 girls and ran a fashion business. I had noticed Nusa's recent distraction. He came back from work late and barely had any energy for sex or anything else, which was strange because he normally had a very high libido. When I noted it, he put it down to the stress of work since he now managed a branch of his bank and oversaw 2 other smaller branches as well. When I finally confronted him, he was not even remorseful. He told me that our marriage no longer excited him and that he found happiness with Linda. He answered all my questions about her, and I got to know that he met her when she came to the bank to sort out her husband's accounts almost a year prior. I could talk about the fact that she knew he was married or how opportunistic she was, but honestly, she was not my concern. My husband was. When I spoke to my mother-in-law about it, she was so angry with Nusa, and she called him over and gave him a piece of her mind. But when he wouldn't budge, I knew I was fighting a losing battle. I did something daring. I called Linda and invited her for lunch one day. I was on leave So I told her to come over to the house after assuring her that I had no issues with her, but just felt we needed to talk. I did not cook, but I ordered food after she arrived so that she would know I had no ulterior motives. When she came, she was very tense at first, but I told her that I knew Nusa's heart was with her and that I was going to leave him. I told her all about him, his nuances, his food preferences, and other family information I thought would help her. I even told her how she could win my mother-in-law's heart and about his siblings and the ones she could parley with. I told her that I would not pretend we were friends because I did not appreciate the way she came in, but that was between Nusa and I, and therefore I would not hold it against her. She thanked me and she left. The next day, I had my lawyer contact Nusa with divorce papers stating my terms. When he came home, he tried to be bold-faced and dismissive, but I let him know that I was serious. I was not interested in a legal battle. I just wanted him to provide a home for his children and pay their school fees along with a fixed monthly stipend to cover their upkeep. He could see them as often as he liked, and they could spend part of their holidays with him if he so desired. He pushed back against giving us one of his apartments, but I guess his mom spoke to him because I told her, and a couple of days later, he signed the papers. My mother-in-law was so angry with him. She never accepted Linda. In fact, she did not attend their wedding, and she maintained her relationship with me and the children. Nosa and Linda were married and divorced within 5 years. They did not have any child together. My mother-in-law told me that they argued all the time about money and that, unlike me, she refused to contribute a dime to the home and rather wanted an easy life. She was demanding and entitled, and Nusa footed all her bills, including the full upkeep of her children. She let me know how Nusa was full of complaints and always compared Linda to me. My mother-in-law was always ready for him with an "I told you so" attitude. The shocking thing for me was when Nusa came back to apologize a year after their divorce. He even asked me to come back because he had learned his lessons. I assured him that I was not angry or bitter, but I would never ever return to him as I had moved on. That was almost 16 years ago. I remarried 2 years later to a gentleman who had never been married. That's a story for another day. I had one more child in my mid-40s, and it has been bliss. Nusa's mom and I are still very much in touch, even though she's quite old now. I visit her from time to time, and we still enjoy our talks. She's an absolutely amazing woman, a very rare one too. Her type deserves to be celebrated. I'd like to read your thoughts about Erica and Nusa's story in the comments. What do you think about how she handled things? Remember to subscribe to my channel and to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos.